Hello, I am Aditi Devdar. I am leading a project, Mission City Chakra, at Center for Sustainable Development at Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. What this project is all about and how you all can participate under your community engagement program for your school curriculum or college curriculum. I will take you through that journey. I will just brief you about what Mission City Chakra is, exactly what problem it is that we are going trying to solve, and what projects can be done under this theme, and how we can help you in this your journey. So I will just present about Mission City Chakra. At Mission City Chakra, we aim for a zero waste Pune city. If you look at condition of our city right now, I know this seems like a utopian dream, but let me take you through this and we'll see what philosophy exists for zero waste city and how we are working towards it. As you are seeing on the screen, this is the condition of city right now. If you take any city across India, more or less, this is the same scene you will find there. So there is garbage in the river, there is garbage by the roadside, there is garbage on the bridges and footpaths. And just by looking at these photographs, you can guess what is the material that is predominantly seen in any garbage heap. So yeah, that is plastic. So majority of material is plastic. So have you ever seen stainless steel utensils that are just thrown or hurled in garbage heap, or copper vessels or aluminum articles? So what things or what materials we find in garbage heaps and what materials are never found in a garbage heap that provide us with very vital clues. I will just provide you one historic background of this garbage. Year was 1997, and the person you see in the photograph is Captain Moore. He had participated in a boat race on Hawaii Islands. After completing the race, he was to return to his home in California. Taking his usual route through Pacific, he decided to take a longer route. And this area in Pacific, which he was planning to visit, was is known as desert in Pacific. Desert as in the sense not much fish varieties found there. And so normally fishing trawlers are not interested in visiting this area. Also, the wind is not available for the ships. So the ships or boats need to use lot of their fuel to travel to this area. It is the area of Pacific which is usually avoided by fishing trawlers or any merchant ships. So he started his journey, and for a week, he and his team traveled in that area, and they never crossed another ship. So now his a boat, Algaita, was the only one in that vast expanse of Pacific Ocean. But from the third day, he started noticing some garbage in the ocean. So there was a bottle cap, a broken seal. It just kept popping up here and there. And each day, that frequency and quantity increased. And finally, on the seventh day, he came across this site. So it looks like an island, but there is no land beneath it. So it is just a collection of garbage. And all that garbage is collected at one place due to the currents, ocean currents. They act as vortex and they collect all garbage together. And that's why it is all chunked in together. And it appears like an island made of garbage. And what was the expanse or extent of that garbage patch? You could fit six Maharashtra states in that. So that was the vast area occupied by that garbage. Uh, so And just by visual inspection, he could see that there was majority of material in that garbage patch was plastic. So for a week, he had traveled without coming inside of any other ship. So he was surprised that how much so much quantity of garbage is dropped here when no other, not much or not many ships visit this area. And his one assumption was maybe the naval ships that patrol the area, maybe this is the garbage dumped by them. So that was his assumption. So he named that patch as Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and he returned home. But that sight or that thought of garbage patch never left his mind. And he decided that he will go to the root of the problem just to understand exactly how miles away from this land, out in the ocean, how this garbage has reached there. So for 2 years, he gathered the team. So there were scientists in his team, there were divers in his team to actually collect the sample from the ocean. And after 2 years, with full preparation, he returned to this patch. And so his one assumption was correct that almost 90% material in that garbage was plastic. But his other assumption that somebody had dumped that garbage there was wrong. So the garbage that was found there, he realized was discarded as waste somewhere in the land. And the places from where it had arrived, they were nowhere near seashore. So they were places deep inland and from where that garbage had originated. Almost 80% of that garbage had come from inland. And so it had been carried till the ocean through a network of streams and rivers that ultimately drain in the ocean. And because of the ocean currents, the whatever had reached the ocean had collected there. And that is how that garbage patch was formed. And so this was the condition back in 1997. And since then, we know our consumption of plastic has only increased. So you can imagine what might be the condition of that patch right now. If in 1997 that patch could accommodate six Maharashtra states, what would be the expanse now? And disturbingly enough, later on it was discovered that this was not an isolated example. Such garbage patches exist almost in all oceans. So Pacific itself has two garbage patches, Atlantic has one, Indian Ocean has one, even Bay of Bengal has garbage patch. So if you look at Pune city, then whatever plastic is discarded or whatever plastic we see in the river, the journey of of that plastic is that it from Mutha and Mula river, it enters Mula Mutha river. Mula Mutha river drain into Bhima river. So all that plastic gets transferred into Bhima river. Then Bhima river in Karnataka state drains into Krishna river. And ultimately, Krishna River in Vijayawada state of Vijayawada area of Andhra Pradesh drains into Bay of Bengal. So whatever plastic we see here in the river, it is ultimately going to travel about 1500 kilometers to reach Bay of Bengal. And all the plastic might not enter Bay of Bengal, but along the way, when the same river water is used for irrigation, some particles from that plastic will enter the soil because soil and water can never be separated. So this is the condition. Whenever we say garbage, it almost is synonym with plastic. So let us see why that is. So why we find so much plastic in any garbage heap. So we are not the only species that use materials. So for example, we have birds that build nests. So what do they do? Is they gather sticks, leaves, grass or cotton, and then they build nest using that. Then they lay eggs. chicks hatch. Eventually, they learn to fly, and one day they fly away, leaving the emptiness behind. And that emptiness sits there, it gets withered in the winds, in the rains, and eventually it falls down. And after a few days, there is no trace of that nest. So all the material that had made that nest has gone back to the soil. And so that is the key, that why there is no waste or garbage in nature is because all the processes are circular. So output from one process serves as input to some other process. And that's why there is no waste, because everything remains a resource. So if we want to create a zero waste city, then our principle should be, so whatever materials we use, the material should fit this criteria, that the material should decompose and go back to the soil. Means it should be biodegradable. Or other criteria is that material should be infinitely recyclable. Now, stainless steel, copper, aluminum, almost all metals fit into this category, that they are not biodegradable, but they are infinitely recyclable. It's now I have this bottle, steel bottle. I'm using it for last 10 years. So if I am to dispose it off, so I will send it for recycling and it will be recycled into something new. So in case of plastic, what happens after recycling, with every round of recycling, the material deteriorates. So when you recycle a plastic tiffin box, which is, or plastic water bottle, which is of food grade quality, the material will deteriorate. So the quality of the material will not remain same. So that recycled plastic is of inferior quality than the original. So technically, it doesn't get recycled; it gets downcycled, and so no food grade article can be made out of it. So maybe something like a dustbin or a pot for the plants, some product like that can be made. Then when that goes for recycling, what happens is the material now will further deteriorate. And so maybe thin plastic bags or those black garbage bags can be made out of it. And when it comes for the end of life for that carry bag or garbage bag, there is a great chance that it will not be accepted at the recycling facility, because the material has become so weak now that nothing new can be made out of it. And then what is the destination for that is the dump yard, garbage depot. So at dump yard, what happens? So we all know plastic does not decompose, but it does degrade. So it photo degrades, means with exposure to light, it starts breaking into smaller and smaller pieces. So we know if we have some pot for the plant in the balcony, so after a few months or some years, that material becomes brittle and it easily breaks off with exposure to sunlight. So that's what happens to that plastic in the dump yard. That since it is exposed to the sunlight, it will start breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces. And when a piece of plastic is smaller than a sesame seed, तिळापेक्षा लहान होतो, then we call it microplastic. And so you can guess by this time, the piece is so light in weight that it gets easily carried away with movement of wind and rains. So whenever it rains in the dump yard, so wherever there is slope, water will start flowing and it will carry this microplastic along with it. And so it will reach the nearest stream, then the river, and then some sea or ocean. And so this will be the journey. Also, along the way, as I said, that for irrigation, same river water is used. So microplastic from river enters into soils. And the vegetable or crops that are growing in the soil, the root system will absorb microplastics along with water and nutrients from the soil. So currently condition is that microplastic has entered our food chain. So it is found in our food, it is found in our water, and it is found in our air. And so since microplastic is there in our food chain, microplastic is present in our body. And so microplastic is present in our blood, microplastic is present in our arteries, in our intestinal lining, in our tissues. Microplastic is even found in placenta and mother's milk. So this is the condition right now. And what is the problem with presence of plastic in our body is that during manufacturing process of plastic, lot of chemicals are added to it. They are called additives. And many of these additives now we know are carcinogenic, means they can cause cancer. Many are endocrine disruptors, meaning they disrupt our endocrine system, means the system that is responsible for hormonal balance. And many of these endocrine disruptors are hormone mimicking compounds. So they mimic our hormones and they trick our brain into thinking we have sufficient hormones in our body when in fact that is not the situation. And so endocrine disruptors is a very, very serious problem. So problem with plastic is that it has severe health impact, it has severe environmental impact, and the microplastics, once it is out there in the environment, it is impossible to retrieve it. So the best strategy to avoid microplastic in the environment is not to let it go in the environment. And so, if we want to achieve this zero waste city dream, then for any material that we use, we have to apply this criteria. The material should either be biodegradable, if not, then it has to be infinitely recyclable. And the material which does not fit either of the criteria, our strategy should be refuse or reduce. So we all are familiar with this R framework, and in that, refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, redistribute, and recycle. So recycle, we have highlighted it in red for a reason. Recycle should always be the last resort, even for material like metals that are infinitely recyclable. Still, recycle should be the last resort, very last option to exercise, because any recycling process consumes energy, uses resources, and it produces pollution. And so it has to be kept as last resort. Where refuse is where you question whether you need something, is it really required? Then if answer is yes, then can you reduce it? That is how refuse and reduce should be practiced. And so for material like plastic, that should be the criteria, because plastic material can be recycled only 2 to 3 times. Even after that, it continues to pollute our environment. So for plastic, wherever possible, refusing plastic is the best strategy. We exactly do, what Mission City Chakra is all about, and how we aim to create this zero waste city. So, suppose there is one Mr. X and he drinks tea twice a day in his office. His office uses paper cups. So, twice a day, when he drinks tea, he uses 2 paper cups. So, if it's Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, then it's for 5 days, it is 10 paper cups a week. Then that means monthly he uses 40 paper cups. And yearly that number becomes 480 paper cups as waste. So this is the waste that Mr. X produces on account of drinking tea in the office. So one day Mr. X realized that there is problem here. First thing, he is creating 480 paper cups as waste from very simple activity of drinking tea. And secondly, since paper cup is not really a paper cup, so we know paper cannot hold liquid for a long time. So when we drink a boiling tea or hot coffee in the paper cup and still it doesn't leak, that means it is not paper cup, but it is paper from the outside, and there is very thin layer of plastic from inside. And as we discuss, plastic contains a lot of chemicals that leach into the contents that are stored in it. So many chemicals leach into tea or coffee. Also, microplastic is mixed with that. It's not only tea or coffee that we are drinking, but a lot of microplastic is also entering our body. And when that liquid is hot, so it is when it is hot tea or coffee, that percentage of that leaching increases. So when he realized that, he was horrified that he has not been drinking only tea or coffee for so many years. But he decided that, okay, whatever damage is done, but let us at least put things right from now on. And he decided that at home anyway, we don't use paper cups. So he was using regular ceramic cups. So one day he carried a ceramic mug from home to office, and so he kept the mug at his desk. Then, whenever he used to drink tea after use, he rinses it and returns it to the desk. And he was very happy that only this small decision now say prevented 480 paper cups annually as garbage from this activity. But Mr. X was not satisfied with that. He realized that his colleagues are still using paper cups, and so he has about 100 odd people working in his office. So he did maths, and he realized if it is 480 paper cups for one person, then for 100 persons it is 48,000 paper cups every year. So with 100 people drinking tea every day in the office, they are producing 48,000 paper cups as waste at end of each year. And if you pile those paper cups on one top of other, and if you create a tower out of it, that tower will be taller than Kalsubai. So Kalsubai, as we know, it's the tallest peak in Sahyadri in Maharashtra. So that is the impact of such a small and seemingly harmless thing as drinking tea. So he decided that nothing doing, he will put stop to this. And so now, what do you think Mr. X should do? Do you think he has to wait for government to ban paper cups? Or does he have to travel to Mumbai or Delhi to convince the policy maker to put policies in his office? No. As far as Mr. X is concerned, his policy maker is sitting just in the next cubicle, which is office administrator. So he went to office administrator and convinced him that why paper cups is a bad idea. And he did not just argue that it is very bad for health and it is very bad for environment. He also provided some statistics that if his office buys 100 steel glasses, then whatever that cost will be recovered in 1 or 2 months. Because the paper cups need to be bought because it is a single use product, they need to be bought repeatedly. But investment in 100 steel cups is a long term investment. So, whatever initial cost is will be recovered in no time. And after that, it is almost or it is zero because all you need is washing. There is no breakage if steel is used. So his office administrator was immediately convinced, and he bought 100 steel cups, and paper cups were stopped, and that 48,000 wastage per year was stopped with one decision immediately. And so that is the power of a policymaker. So if we decide something and if we implement it on our personal level, of course, it will have a positive impact, no doubt. But considering the challenge or the intensity of the challenge that we are facing, so that one person doing the right thing is not really enough. And so, if you look around, so there are many establishments in the city, like there are schools, there are offices, institutions, housing societies, and all of them have some policy maker. And that policy maker can enforce some zero waste measures through policy and convey why those policies are made through awareness generation. And that way we can achieve a large impact. So I will give you one example that currently Mission City Chakra is working with schools. And what our strategy is to collaborate with the policy maker in the system and Then implement these zero waste measures through policy intervention. So for schools, school principal is the policy maker. We collaborate with the school principal. And if I do something or if I want to implement something, I can easily do it on my household level where I have influence over four family members in my house. But a school principal can implement those same measures for about 500 to 1,000 students and their parents. So, a school principal is a much more powerful policy maker than we individuals. And so, we are currently working with about 460 schools. And for schools, as the first step, we have identified three products. One is plastic tiffin box, second is plastic water bottle, and third is plastic or laminated covers for the textbooks. And we appeal the school principal to make steel tiffin box, steel water bottle, and normal paper cover for textbooks compulsory in the school, just like school uniform. And so once this rule is in place, it is followed just like every school has uniform and that rule is followed. Similarly, this rule will be followed even if tomorrow the principal changes. And there are about 1,200 schools in Pune city, and we have reached 460 out of the 1,200. And with 1,200 school principals, we reach about half the city, almost 30 lakh people in the city, and we implement these rules. And so these waste reduction measures get imbibed, or their importance or significance is imbibed in the school children right from their formative age. And so health impact of plastic from these products is stopped, environmental impact is stopped, and that way we implement this change on a very large scale with lesser efforts. Then we are working about with 50 corporate offices where our aim is to create a zero waste office. Our next target is restaurants where that is in still in design phase. We are brainstorming over that idea, events, various vendors. And next to come are institutes, housing societies, and product design again, which is a very huge leverage point to bring about a change. And so coming back to your CEP, where community engagement program is what you are looking for. And so you will have 30 hours from this semester and 30 hours from next semester for the field work. So now the process is this, that I will provide you some ideas, and we have documented those ideas, and so if you can come up with idea of your own after hearing through this presentation, well and good, you are welcome to go ahead with that idea. We will provide you any domain related support. Your college professors will guide you regarding research methodology, and in case you are still confused and you don't have any idea of your own, not to worry, we have documented a few ideas. You can just pick up the one you like and you can start your work. And so this is one area where we see lot of material just lying around. So it is not technically waste. So like in this picture, you have paver blocks. So for some footpath work, surplus paver blocks were brought just in case, but they were not needed. So after the work was complete, they could not just send a vehicle to pick up those 4 to 5 paver blocks. So they were just left behind and they are just lying there. They're not very good to look at. It mars the aesthetics of the city. They create inconvenience. Even they might cause accident. So these both are paver blocks that you can see. The surplus paver blocks. Bricks are there. Also, you will see bundles of wires. As you can see in this picture, that they are were brought for some work. They were not required and they were just left there as it is. Those are also hazards. Also and hazard. Those cement pipes, again, they are not waste. They can be used anywhere actually, but they are just lying there for many days. And these such conditions you see around the city, it's a very common sight, and it creates a feeling of shabbiness and clutter. And it is really, really detrimental to the aesthetics of the city. And here now, currently, all the dealing mechanism is more of a reactive mechanism. Means, suppose I see some such thing, I will call PMC care, or I will call my local corporator and complain about it. Then they will send somebody and clear the area. So it is more like knee-jerk reaction, or it's a reactive mechanism. So what if we can gather data about this? So we select some area and we actually inspect those, we photo document, geotag them, and create a database of such things in that area, or prabhag in case our PMC term. And then we contact that local corporator and tell them that these are the problems. So can we have some systematic system to routinely check for these things? And also going ahead, can we prevent these things to some extent? Like if we have a dashboard of all the work currently going on across the city for footpaths, then we know that the surplus paver blocks from this work can be used somewhere else, and they can be transported there, so that resource is used, it is not wasted, and such things can be avoided. So can we have a system like this? And so if you want to design a system like this, first we want to have a database. And so in 30 hours of CEP, we cannot just have that everything, that dashboard and that system, everything in place. But we can do documentation of one prabhag, one area. So whichever area is convenient for you, either near your college or near your residence, if you select that area and you do the patrolling of that area and photo document everything, then eventually in maybe next 30 hours of your field work, we can devise a system, or it can be done later on. So, but you put the groundwork through your CAP. So that is one idea which is documented in the list that we will be providing. And there is one more idea here. So, this garden waste. So, garden waste is a major problem in the city. So, garden waste comprises of dry leaves, it branches, the grass or lawn trimmings, and it is a major challenge. It's especially the branches, because we know they don't decompose really fast. And so, what to do with them? So, during rains, many of the branches break down and they fall, or sometimes some hazardous branches need to be cut down. And so, for societies, since they don't know what to do with it, so dealing mechanism is to get rid of it by just dumping it somewhere outside their premises. And the other thing, women carrying that load, that is also a very common sight in the city. So, who are these people who use firewood? So, usually, people in the low income areas, they use LPG for cooking, but they cannot afford LPG to heat their bathing or bath water. So अंघोळीचं पाणी तापवायला, there they use firewood. So it is either traditional chula or bump, that way furnace, something like that they use it. So now gathering firewood is again a major challenge. First thing, availability of firewood is a challenge. Collection is hard work. It involves drudgery, and every week they have to do it because they don't have enough place to store it in their houses. So can we can see there are societies where they have these branches and they don't know what to do with it, so they are dumping it somewhere. And these are the people who can actually make use of it, and it will save them a lot of hard work, and they save time for them. So can we connect these two? So there is clearly supply, there is clearly a demand. Both are in the same city. So can we connect the two? So again, I'm not expecting that everything will be done in these 30 hours. So what we can do is, again, we select one prabhag and we map out the societies with large trees, interview some people to understand exactly what happens to the branches that fall down or need to be cut down. And then similarly, we can visit some low income settlements in that prabhag, and we can interview them regarding their firewood requirement and how they get their firewood right now, and whether if firewood is made available to them, whether their life will be easier. And once we have that database, maybe we can again request the local corporator, maybe provide some place where the societies can send their branches, and from where the people who need them can collect them. Some exchange mechanism can be done. It can be done through CSR funding also. How to go about it can be seen later, but currently we don't have any data. These are just assumptions or ideas that we have. So once we have data, then we have a concrete plan. We can have a concrete plan to put that idea into action. So that is one thing. The picture here you see is dry leaf pellets. So dry leaves are crushed in almost into powder, and they are compacted into these pellets. Now the pellets is also a good idea. Again, dry leaves, the volume is a very much challenge actually, though dry leaves are easily decomposable. So for 6 months of the year during leaf fall season, we have this issue. Now, there are many initiatives in the city that deal with this. Still, the quantity of dry leaves is very huge. And if you in case of dry leaf pellets, the compaction is very high. So if you want to have one gunny bag of such pellets, then you need to have almost 74 to 75 gunny bags of dry leaves. So from 75 gunny bags dry leaves, you get one gunny bag of pellet, and that is the level of compaction. So large volume can be compressed into very small quantity, and these pellets can be used in the soil. If you just put them in the soil, they will eventually disintegrate and decompose. Or these dry leaf pellets can be used as fuel in the specific stores. The stores need to be specially designed for that. So maybe even that will be a great idea to look for, collect the data. The same data that we collect can be used for this, where somebody sponsors, maybe the society sponsors 1 year supply of dry leaf pellets for these people, and the problem for the society is solved. So problem of firewood for these people is solved. So it can be a win-win situation. So again, data collection can be done in your CEP. Some products can be made. So similarly, biochar is one more product that can be made out of dry leaves or garden waste in general, where instead of burning, open burning, they are where ash is the remnant. Here we heat it in a specialized furnace, and biochar is created. Biochar is like coal. It's a very dark black powdery substance that you get. And again, that is an excellent soil amendment. It can be put into soil where it increases porosity of the soil, it increases its fertility. That is activated carbon. Means when we burn dry leaves, the carbon goes in the air as carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. Both are greenhouse gases. Whereas in this, we capture that carbon, and if you put it back to the soil, soil is a very large carbon sink. So again, it is a win-win situation. Instead of just putting it back in the soil, it can be used in some products like charcoal soaps are made. So charcoal is used in cosmetics in a large quantity. So soaps can be made out of it, or it can be used as a room freshener, where you have a pouch of biochar, and it absorbs odors from the room. And when it gets saturated, you just put it back in the soil where it mixes with the soil. So there is the one self-help group from Rajasthan who has come up with this idea, where they have created this corporate gift set. So some products like this can be made. Again, that comes later, but you can think of it as a startup idea for you. So while you are working for your CEP project, it can work as an input, or it can work as preparation for your startup also. So again, data collection, that you need a very large quantity. You need to first collect them, then make into biochar. So that infrastructure will be needed, and for that you should have assured dry leaf supply. So documenting dry leaf availability would be a task during the CEP. Chakra, our aim is to create a zero waste Pune city. And for us, we believe that best waste management is waste reduction. And so we design systems with that intent in mind, where our refuse and reduce is our aim rather than recycling. And our strategy is to identify and collaborate with policymakers in the system and make that system zero waste with through that collaboration with combination of policy intervention supported by targeted awareness generation. And now the process is this, that in the description of the video, I have provided with a Google form. So if you want to do your community engagement program with Mission City Chakra, then you are welcome to fill out that form. And in the form itself, I have provided one list of project ideas. So in case you are still confused, you don't have idea of your own, you are free to pick up any idea from that list and put that. So you will put that in your Google form so that we know which idea you have picked up. If it is your own idea, you will write details of that idea. And regarding any doubt in the domain area, you can contact me. My email ID is given in the description. If you have any question about research methodology, then your professors are the best source. They will guide you. And we have this communication link always open through email exchange, where you are free to ask questions anytime you want. And let us do these projects that actually solve problems or that help solve some problems. And let us make sure that whatever 30 hours you put in through your CEP are used to solve problems on ground. So thank you very much and all the best for your project.